If you were born before the year 2006, you almost certainly learned one unchanging fact about our solar system. There are 9 planets stretching from tiny Mercury all the way out to distant icy Pluto. For generations, Pluto was more than just a celestial object. It was a symbol of the outer limits of our cosmic neighborhood, a mysterious world that captured the imagination of kids, students, and stargazers across every continent. We drew it in our notebooks, memorized its name alongside the 8 others, and thought its place in the planet family was permanent. Then, almost overnight, everything changed. In 2006, the International Astronomical Union, the global authority that names and classifies objects in space, voted to strip Pluto of its planetary status. Overnight, the 9 planets became 8, and Pluto was reclassified as something new, a dwarf planet. Millions of people were confused, upset, and even angry. How could a planet that had been part of our textbooks for 76 years suddenly not be a planet anymore? Was this a mistake, a conspiracy? A random decision by a group of distant scientists? The real story behind Pluto's expulsion from the Planet Club is not a simple one. It is a tale of scientific discovery, mistaken measurements, groundbreaking space observations, a clash of astronomical ideas, and a quiet revolution in how we understand the structure of our solar system. To understand why Pluto lost its title, we have to go back to the very beginning, long before it was ever discovered. In the early 1900s, astronomers noticed something strange about the orbits of Uranus and Neptune. These 2 giant ice planets did not move exactly as mathematical calculations predicted. Their paths wobbled slightly, as if some unseen distant object was tugging on them with its gravity. A wealthy astronomer named Percival Lowell became obsessed with finding this mystery world. He believed it was a large 9th planet, and he poured his fortune into building the Lowell Observatory in Arizona, specifically to hunt for this planet. Lowell spent years searching, but he died in 1916 without ever seeing his target. More than a decade later, in 1929, the observatory hired a young self-taught astronomer named Clyde Tombaugh. Tombaugh's job was simple but painstaking. He used the special telescope to take pairs of photographs of the night sky, then compared them, using a device called a blink comparator, to look for any tiny point of light that moved against the fixed background of stars. On February 18, 1930, Tombaugh found a faint, slow-moving dot deep in the constellation Gemini. The world was ecstatic. News spread quickly, and the new planet was named Pluto, after the Roman god of the underworld, a name suggested by an 11-year-old British schoolgirl. At first, astronomers thought they had found a world similar in size to Earth, a rocky, massive planet that justified Lowell's decades-long search. This early estimate was completely wrong, but no one knew it at the time. Pluto was so far away, about 3.6 billion miles from the Sun, that even the most powerful telescopes could not reveal its true size. For nearly 50 years, scientists clung to the mistake that Pluto was a full-sized planet, and it comfortably held its title as the 9th planet of the solar system. As technology improved through the 1970s and 1980s, astronomers began to realize their error. In 1978, they discovered Pluto's largest moon, Charon, and by measuring the moon's orbit, they calculated Pluto's mass. The results were shocking. Pluto was tiny, far smaller than any other planet. It was only about 2/3 the width of Earth's moon, and less than 1% the mass of Earth. It was an icy small world, not a gas giant or a rocky terrestrial planet. Even worse, Pluto's orbit was bizarre compared to the other 8 planets. All the major planets orbit the Sun in nearly circular paths, lying on the same flat plane. Pluto's orbit is highly elliptical, stretched out like an oval and tilted sharply. For 20 years of its 248-year orbit, Pluto actually moves closer to the Sun than Neptune. It crosses Neptune's orbital path, something no other planet does. These oddities made astronomers question Pluto's place, but no one was ready to remove its planetary title just yet. The real crisis came in the 1990s, when telescopes began to reveal a hidden region of the solar system beyond Neptune, the Kuiper Belt. This vast, donut-shaped zone is filled with billions of icy rocks, dwarf planets, comets, and small celestial bodies left over from the birth of the solar system. Suddenly, Pluto was not alone. It was not a unique planet at the edge of the solar system. It was just one of many large objects in this crowded region. The final blow to Pluto's planetary status arrived in 2005, when astronomer Mike Brown and his team discovered a distant Kuiper Belt object named Eris. Early measurements showed Eris was slightly larger than Pluto, and 27% more massive. This was a game changer. If Pluto was a planet, then Eris, by the same old rules, had to be the 10th planet. But Brown's team and other astronomers were finding more large Kuiper Belt objects every year, Haumea, Makemake, and dozens of others that were nearly as big as Pluto. If we kept Pluto as a planet, we would soon have 15, 20, even 50 planets in the solar system. Textbooks would be rewritten every year, and the simple, beloved system of 9 planets would become messy and unrecognizable. The International Astronomical Union knew it could not go on like this. For hundreds of years, there had never been an official scientific definition of a planet. The word was used casually, based on tradition and appearance, not strict rules. In August 2006, the EOU held its 26th General Assembly in Prague, Czech Republic, with one critical goal: create a clear, universal definition of a planet that would end the confusion once and for all. After weeks of intense debate, arguments, and multiple draft proposals, the IOU voted on a 3-part definition that shocked the world. To be officially recognized as a planet, a celestial body must meet all 3 of these rules. First, it must orbit the Sun directly. This rule excludes moons, which orbit planets instead of the Sunday. Second, it must have enough mass and gravity to pull itself into a nearly round shape. Gravity overcomes the rigid structure of rock and ice, smoothing the world into a sphere. Third, and most importantly, it must have cleared its orbital neighborhood of other debris. That means the planet's gravity is strong enough to pull in, push away, or dominate every other object in its path around the Sunday. When astronomers applied these 3 rules to our solar system, only 8 bodies qualified: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Pluto failed the 3rd rule spectacularly. It lives in the Kuiper Belt, a crowded neighborhood filled with countless other icy objects. It does not dominate its orbit. It shares it. It is simply one member of a large family of trans-Neptunian objects, not a dominant planet. On August the 24th, 2006, 424 astronomers voted, and the resolution passed. Pluto was reclassified as a dwarf planet, a separate class of objects that are round and orbit the Sun, but have not cleared their orbits. It was also given a minor planet designation, 134340 Pluto. The decision sparked global outrage and debate. Many people, especially those who grew up with 9 planets, refused to accept the change. Some astronomers even disagreed with the EAO's ruling, arguing that the 3rd rule was unfair or poorly defined. They said Pluto's cultural and historical importance should keep it as a planet. But the EO stood firm, stating that classification must be based on science, not nostalgia. For years, the argument raged on, but one mission helped change the conversation: NASA's New Horizons. Launched in 2006, just months after Pluto's demotion, New Horizons was a small fast probe built to explore Pluto and the Kuiper Belt. It traveled for 9.5 years, covering more than 3 billion miles, and on July 14, 2015, it made history, the first ever close flyby of Pluto. The images and data it sent back amazed the world. Pluto was not just a boring ball of ice. It had towering mountains made of water ice, vast glaciers of frozen nitrogen, deep craters, smooth plains, and a massive hawk-shaped glacier named Tombaugh Regio in honor of Pluto's discoverer. It has a thin, complex atmosphere and weather patterns. It is a dynamic, geologically active world, far more interesting than anyone had imagined. New Horizons did not restore Pluto's planetary title, but it gave us something better: a true understanding of what Pluto is: a fascinating, unique dwarf planet, the king of the Kuiper Belt, and a window into the early history of our solar system. Today, more than 15 years after the EOU vote, most astronomers and educators accept the new classification. The 8-planet solar system is now standard in textbooks, museums, and science curricula worldwide. Pluto's story teaches us one of the most important lessons about science. It is not about holding on to old ideas forever. Science evolves as we make new discoveries, build better tools, and see the universe more clearly. Pluto did not change our knowledge of it, did it? It was never a real planet that got kicked out. It was a misclassified object that finally found its true place in the cosmic family. Pluto remains one of the most beloved objects in our solar system, a symbol of curiosity, discovery, and the endless mysteries waiting for us in the outer darkness. It may not be a planet anymore, but it will always hold a special place in our hearts. and in the story of human exploration. As we build more powerful telescopes and send more probes to the Kuiper Belt, we will keep learning about Pluto and its icy neighbors, reminding us that the universe is full of surprises, and our understanding of it is always growing, always changing, always reaching for the next great discovery. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel.